Pandemonium in Portland, the Olympic roster revealed, and complete coverage of the CONCACAF Champions League next on The Daily. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Daily here with Andrew Wiebe. I'm Nick Fershaw. Andrew, we're going to wrap up First Kick weekend Monday night in Portland. Some pandemonium in Portland, as Adrian Healy would say. A 3-1 win for the Portland Timbers over the Philadelphia Union, and they got the big moments from their stars. Yeah, for the first 45 minutes, it didn't look like anything was going to happen in the Rose City. A lot of rough play and just not a lot of connections between both teams, and it got started in the second half. And like you said, the game winner coming from Chris Boyd with that second goal, a magnificent header to the back post. Great flick, great cross by Khalif Alassane, and then Alassane does it again for the 3-1 win. Debatable. Is it a cross? Is it a shot? I think here at the office we're leaning toward cross, but still a great goal, a great night in Portland, a great night for MLS overall. Yeah, again, a 3-1 win for Portland. Zach McMath in goal for the Philadelphia Union. Played well other than a couple flubs here and there, but you mentioned Khalif Alassane, a goal and an assist, really one of the stars for the Portland Timbers. Moving on, the Olympic roster was revealed on Monday. Caleb Porter's U23 squad going up into CONCACAF Olympic qualifying later this month. 19 guys listed. There's going to be a 20th in the coming weeks, but 13 of those 19 guys from MLS. A lot of the names we figured. Teal Bunbury, Juan Agudelo, and all the others. Yeah, Freddie Adu being a big one. Breck Shea, probably the biggest name, seeing as he's been with Jurgen Klinsmann's team in all 10 of the last senior games. But a good-looking roster there. You've got guys like Josh Gatt from Molde, Norway, someone that people were calling for to be on this roster. Joe Corona, obviously, from Mexico, another good player, Mixed Diskerud. But they've got a challenge ahead of them. They've got to get to the semifinals and obviously the final to get to the Olympics and qualify for London. But we'll see as that starts on the 22nd in Nashville for the U.S. in Group A. So it's going to be a tough road. A lot of good young U.S. talent there and a lot of MLS-based talent for Caleb Porter's team. Also want to mention Dilly Duca from the Columbus Crew. He's a guy a lot of people thought he was going to be on that roster, but he suffered a strained hamstring against the Colorado Rapids over the weekend. Well, the Seattle Sounders are on the ground in Mexico, expected to get there this afternoon for that big CONCACAF Champions League game against Santos Laguna, the second leg of that quarterfinal series. We saw such a great game last week in Seattle, but the stakes are very high for the Seattle Sounders down there in Mexico. And the big question, Eddie Johnson, what do you do with Eddie Johnson? Game time decision, according to Sigismund. You'd expect him to stay, no less. He's not going to tip his hand ahead of this enormous tie for the Sounders. But if it were me, I think I might stick with what they had going in the other game and leave Eddie for a time off the bench should you need him. You have to expect Santos is going to score goals in this game. They've been extremely explosive at home. I don't think they've lost since the 10 and 11 qualifying and preliminary rounds in the CONCACAF Champions League. So you expect that they score. You know that they have that away goal. You've got to have something in the tank to hit them late in the game if you need it. So I expect Eddie to come off the bench, but of course we'll always see. You mentioned Santos Laguna, 4-0 in this tournament at home, outscored their opponents 14-3 down there in Mexico. So a tough task for the Seattle Sounders. On Wednesday, the other side of the CONCACAF Champions League, Toronto and the LA Galaxy. Toronto on the ground in Southern California. The big story in this one, what's Bruce Arena going to do with that roster, especially after the LA Galaxy's lost to Real Salt Lake? Nick, I would expect no less than a full-strength roster from the Galaxy. At this point in the season, yes, you're looking forward to the MLS campaign, but you've got to win this game. You've got to move on for the goals that they have and the legacy that they want to leave. This is crucial, and of course we won't see Marcelo Sarvas, who started against Real Salt Lake. He is cup-tied for this competition. You'd expect Juninho to come back in. Other than that, though, I think we see the best lineup that Bruce can put out there, and expect that they'll beat Toronto FC. Well, it should be a good one out at the Home Depot Center, the LA Galaxy and Toronto FC. A couple more things before we go. I want to mention the AT&T Goal of the Week. It's back. We've been waiting all off-season, but it is back. You can log on and vote on Tuesday on MLSsoccer.com. There's a couple different ways you can vote. Make sure you find out all the details there. And the latest edition of Extra Time Radio, the podcast, will be out on Tuesday. Looking back at First Kick weekend, you can find that on iTunes and Buzzsprout. And for all the latest headlines in MLS, log on to MLSsoccer.com.